So I was just listening to a thing on NPR. I'm going to go and hunt down some information on it later. Further educate myself on what people believe. Some of this is bullshit. Studies have shown, and this isn't the bullshit part, but studies have shown that the youth, ages 18 to 26, are experiencing an uptick in the number of suicides. And they've been exploring all these different possible reasons why they could be. You know, that since 2012, there's been an uptick in it. And let's leave aside my humorous conspiracy theory that December 21st, 2012 was actually the end of the world and we're all dead. The Mayan prophecy was right. This is hell. Leaving that aside, this woman's speculation, and I use the term this woman in the simple descriptive term of a female who has said a thing. She's got some research credits, I'll give her that. But she's claiming that the one thing that has happened more since 2012 that would be a direct effect is smartphones. That the uptick in media exposure to our children is what's the problem for depression. And all I could think is, so what you're saying is access to more information and a greater expansion to your knowledge leads to depression? No shocker there. The smarter people are always more depressed. I wonder if they've correlated that into their fucking findings. That the problem isn't that the youth of the world aren't more depressed, it's that they're more intelligent. And being more intelligent, they see through your bullshit. And it's just depressing. Once you look past all the horseshit, fairy tale, mythology bullshit, it's all depressing. Some Rick and Morty level nihilism, man. Nobody exists on purpose, or nobody is born on purpose. Nobody belongs anywhere. Everybody's gonna die. Go watch TV. Kids aren't more depressed nowadays because they have smartphones. They're not depressed nowadays because they have, you know, more access to media. Although that's part of it. Kids today, in my humble observation, are depressed today because the world fucking sucks. The only thing about it that doesn't suck is what we make not suck. Fact, period. That's all there. If you find a place that is paradisical and idyllic, odds are it's just your opinion of paradise. And it's probably someone else's idea of hell. But that's not the point. The idea that the youth of the world are experiencing an uptick in suicidal tendencies because of smartphones and an increased access to media is dumb. It's just dumb. It's ignoring the basic underlying fact of reality, and that's that religion has one thing right. All existence is pain and suffering. All life exists to feed on other life. Life is pain, Highness. Anyone that tells you different is selling you something. But listening to the NPR article, all I could think is that this is short-sighted, like a lot of human shit. Short-sighted, narrow-focused. The idea that kids today are depressed and are thinking about suicide more often because they're using their smartphones more often is, frankly, it's correlation without causation. Or causation without correlation. Yeah, whatever. It kind of works both ways. Regardless, it's not the same as saying that there are more accidents when it rains, because that statement is actually backed up by information that you can clearly see. When it rains, the roads get wet. This isn't this isn't the same as that. This is more along the lines of pirates control global warming. As the number of pirates has decreased, global warming has increased at an almost direct correlation. This is one of the basic tenets of the Flying Spaghetti Monsters religion, Pastafarianism, which I'm not a member of, but I find humorous. And I find it humorous because it's basically a religion that formed around an anti-religion discussion. People aren't more suicidal because they're paying attention to their smartphones. Kids, more to the point. Kids aren't going out and doing the Momo challenge because their parents aren't paying enough attention. Some of the shit you read on the internet, people, is genuine horse shit. It's one of my favorite conversations ever, is you have to be willing to accept that probably your opinion is full of shit, that you are in the wrong. And until you can accept that you might probably be in the wrong, you can't effectively argue. You can't effectively debate unless you understand the argument that it takes to break your argument. If you can have an argument and you can understand not just your side, but their side as well, and understand how they attempt to take your side down, it gives you a distinct advantage. I have to walk up to a customer's door. There's always a moment where I kind of lose my train of thought when I get back in the car, because when I get out of the car, brain gets focused on what I'm trying to do. But anyway, when you look into it, the suicide rate has gone up a little bit. But looking for things to blame is difficult. When you start looking for culprits and you've already got a suspect in mind, it colors your investigation. That's the difficulty of being a cop and investigating something, is you generally have a suspect and you're trying to find enough evidence to convict that suspect. The best parts about the CSI is they generally don't have all that information in such a way that they're biased. They have to look at it from the scientific point of view. This person could have done it. To be sure, we have some of the information and he is a potential suspect. It could be, but the CSI always has to look at it from a potential suspect, a potential perpetrator. Whereas the cop has to look at it as, no, I fucking saw that guy pull out a gun and shoot another dude. I don't need to fucking have the CSI do it. I'll testify. And that's helpful, but there's no evidentiary support that says that children and young adults are committing suicide because of their access to smartphones and media technology. My 10-year-old is a horror fan. Has a grown-up tablet. Like, I'd send you the specs on it, but I can't remember off the top. I'd tell you the specs, but I can't remember off the top of my head. But it's good-sized, grown-up tablet. He has full access to the internet. He can watch pretty much whatever he wants within reason. He knows there are rules, and for the most part, he follows the rules. Now, when it comes to, we all go out to play Pokemon Go, and he's decided after about 45 minutes that he's done with this damn shit because he's a 10-year-old. You know, holding a kid's attention on playing a game that involves you and your parents out walking around in a park is cool, but only to a point. I'll be honest. My kid's not suicidal because of his access to these things. If he's suicidal, To be honest, it's because his father's a dick and has a shitty sense of humor. He lives in a trailer park and his friends are all assholes. If my kid's depressed and thinking about suicide, it's not because he's got access to the internet. It's because the world is a shitty, shitty place. And we are barely built to cope with this bullshit. On any fucking level. And you start questioning why people who are 18 just becoming adults look at the world around them with a fucking look of like, oh God, just fucking kill me now. They've been watching the shit their parents have been going through trying to maintain the bills. They've been watching how the world looks to them. And yeah, access to the media might make them depressed and want to commit suicide because the news is fucking dark, scary, and fucking depressing. Are you paying attention? If you're not paying attention, you're probably not as pissed off and depressed as the rest of us. But if you are paying attention, then you're probably angry all the fucking time. For one reason or another. If you're against Trump's border wall, you're pissed off because of the way he's trying to go about getting what effectively amounts to too much wall, more than we need. If you're for the wall, this whole fucking bunch of arguing is just stalling the fucking process. There's no working together. You should be pissed off and depressed if you're paying attention. On any fucking side of the fence. But more than anything else, we keep teaching our children that there's a goddamn fence. That your ideas must fall on one side or the other. Plus or minus, for or against, 1 or 0. This is a horseshit line of thinking. This is machine language. We do not think in binary like that. Children aren't depressed because they got access to smartphones. Kids are depressed because this world is fucking garbage, and it's full of garbage people. Have you met humans? Go out, look around, meet some of the humans that are running this motherfucker, and then remind yourself that you're related to them. You're not only related to them, but you're related to chimps too, don't worry. You're also about 90-some% related to a fucking banana, so let's not get too high and mighty above yourself. Humans live in nature in a complex system. Partially of our own creation. A lot of our own creation. Not completely, but a lot. We politic, and we fucking pump, and we preen, and we have as many fucked up ceremonies as any animal in the animal kingdom. From the mating rituals of herons to the scent lands of some fucking types of lemurs to... We have some of the most complex bunch of bullshit ever because we go ahead and add in not just how things smell and look and taste and sound, but how they make us feel. Like if two people are attracted to each other and the moment is fucking moving, then they're getting right to about the point of, in most animal, systems, to the point of the whole thing, which is the mating. And they get to a point where suddenly they realize, he's not making me feel good. I mean, he smells good, and, he looks good, all that, but he called me fat, and that made me feel bad. That can ruin the whole fucking thing. And then it doesn't matter how in the mood you are or any of that. That mood is fucking tainted. Sure, you can go through with it. It might even be fun. But now that mood is fucked. And that... They had another guest on immediately after the female researcher who countered it, basically, with the same line of thought, really. Which is that it's the thing I've told psychiatrists every time I've talked to a psychiatrist or a psychologist. Whenever I talk to a fucking head shrinker and they try to start talking about what's wrong, you seem agitated. You're goddamn right I seem agitated. Have you fucking looked around you? These fucking savages are murdering each other over what color their fucking skin is, and when that's not enough, they fucking murder each other over which invisible sky daddies worship rules. Not even like the different sky daddies, because it's not too, the Christians killing the fucking Norse for their religious beliefs or slaughtering the Indians. It's people who believe in the same goddamn deity. Allah, Jehovah, Yahweh, whatever name you want to fucking call him, it's the same God. The deity of Abraham is the same deity for the Christians, the Protestants, the Jews, the Muslims, all of them. Why are your fucking kids depressed? Why do they look at the world around them and think, fuck this, a bullet would taste better than more of this garbage? Look around you. The world is garbage. Pretending like it's not is how we got in this fucking shithole that we are. Look, your kids aren't trying to kill themselves because they got access to smartphone technology. Your kids are pissed off and probably want to kill themselves because they made the mistake of watching the news and they see that we've got a fucking super racist who will not even condemn the Nazis running our fucking nation. The guy in charge of the EPA is an enemy of the EPA who has sued the EPA a number of times on regulations that protect the environment because they prevented him from making a couple bucks more. Kids are depressed. It's a fact. Are they depressed because of your smartphone you gave them? No. They're depressed because this world is fucking terrifying. If you don't understand that, you're not paying attention. Anyway, I gotta go back to work.